Now we have arrived at the last part of the Docker image, which is running the Docker image on your Docker environment. Now, whenever you are running the Docker image, that means you are running in the form of a container. So we will use the running image or container alternatively while understanding different running process. So this slide basically shows the general purpose command for running Docker image, and in this Docker 101 course we will learn 3 different type of running a Docker container. The first one is just simple docker run -it followed by the image name, which is Ubuntu in our case. It will run the Ubuntu Docker image in the foreground. That means it will open a command prompt of the Ubuntu image on the terminal, and you can start working inside that Ubuntu image. The next one is docker run -it, then the image name, that is Ubuntu, followed by a command, that is ls-l. This one basically run the ls-l command inside the Ubuntu image container and display the result. Basically, this ls-l command will list all the files and directories inside the working directory of the Ubuntu image. Remember, this one will not run the container in the foreground. That means you won't get any command prompt or any terminal for that Ubuntu image. It will just list down all the files and give you back the local machine's command prompt and won't go inside the Docker image. The next one is the -p flag. This -p flag is very important for many different purposes. This -p flag is, -p stands for port, and here in conjunction with this Docker run, it basically maps between Docker container ports and the local machine port. And this command means it run the Docker Ubuntu image and map the container port 8040 to the local machine's port 8080. If you want to test it, what is the meaning of mapping, you need to do some more experiment. So here is the process of an experiment by which you can test it. So first of all, what I have done is I have updated my Ubuntu image inside the container. Then what I have done, I have installed the npm software inside the container. And after installing this npm, I have installed a simple HTTP server using that npm software, using this command. And once the HTTP server have been installed, I just started the HTTP server at the port 8040 of the container. Once this HTTP server have been started at port 8040 of the container, then you can open any browser window in your local machine. It can be Google Chrome, it can be Firefox, it can be whatever you want. It can be Microsoft Edge or whatever you want. And then on the browser window, on the address bar, type this HTTP localhost, which means this is your local machine, then 8080, which is the local machine port in here. And once you will type this in the address bar, you should be able to see the responses on the browser, and those responses are coming actually from the container port 8040. Now, any number of ports of container can be mapped to the local machine by specifying numbers of -p flag. So that means -p, the first port mapping, then again another -p, then another port mapping, then another -p, another port mapping, like this. There are several other flags available to run a Docker image or a Docker container. But for this Docker 101 course, we will restrict ourselves to only these 3 different types of running. However, if you are interested in many other different flags and commands for running or argument for running, you can always consult the internet. So that is all about build, ship, and run philosophy of Docker, and you got all the hands-on experience related to this philosophy.